Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Indian Bull vs Bear. This is the sixth video of the series, The Final Missing Piece. In today's video, I'll analyze the FMCG sector. This video is structured in three sections. First, I'll give a brief introduction of the sector. Then I'll share 5 graphs with you and explain them in order to identify some trend. Also, I'll share my key takeaways from each of those graphs. Please read the entire disclaimer carefully and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and comment, share, like and press the bell notification icon. So the FMCG sector is one of the largest and most resilient industries in India. It includes products that are sold quickly at relatively low cost, such as food and beverages, personal care, household goods, and healthcare products. The FMCG sector contributes approximately 10% to India's GDP and is the fourth largest sector in the economy. FMCG companies rely on rural and urban markets with millions of retail outlets across India. Online grocery and FMCG sales are rising due to mobile-friendly quick delivery and low-cost platforms. There are few challenges though that the sector is facing, which includes rising inflation and input costs, and digital disruption and e-commerce shift, which has significantly impacted the retail outlets. So to analyze the historical trend, I'll present 5 graphs in front of you. First will be the yearly returns graph, in which we'll see the yearly returns over last 10 years of top 10 companies of this sector. The top 10 companies of this sector comprises of 2 large cap and 8 mid cap companies. Second graph will be the yearly swing graph, in which we'll see the number of positive and negative returns months. The third graph will be the monthly returns over last 10 years graph, in which we'll see the returns, last 10-year returns across every month. The fourth graph will be the mean monthly returns, in which we'll see the average or mean of the returns of last 10 years across every month. And the fifth graph will be the monthly swing graph, in which we'll see the number of positive and negative returns years. I'll also share the key takeaways from each of these graphs. Please do not skip any portion of this video and watch it in full. You are going to learn a lot which will help you to take decisions on your own. So let's see the first graph. This is the yearly returns graph. This is a line graph which has 2 lines. One is this blue line, which shows the yearly returns in percentage, whereas this orange line is the cumulative returns yearly percentage line. So in 2015, this sector gave a return of 21.91%. So I would say a good year for this sector. But in 2016, the yearly returns were only 2.87%. Then came 2017, which proved to be a very good year for this sector, in which it gave returns of 45.27%. In 2018, the returns dropped to 15.34%. The returns further dropped in 2019, and the sector gave the return of 6.52%. In 2020, the situation improved a bit for the sector, and the sector gave a return of 18.97%. 2021, the returns decreased a bit, and the sector gave a return of 14.49%. 2022 was not a good year for this sector, as the sector only gave returns of 8.32%. But the returns improved dramatically in 2023, with the sector gave returns of 32.72%. But the returns dropped again considerably, and in 2024, the sector gave returns of only 2.34%. So if you see, this orange line actually shows the cumulative percentage. So by 2019, the cumulative returns were 123.83, which increases to 230.23 in 2022, and so on. So what is the takeaway from this graph? So the takeaway from this graph is that the cumulative returns of this sector over the last 10 years is 348.52%, which means 4 times 4x. So if someone has put in the money in the sector in 2015 and waited till the end of 2024, their money would be 4x. So the money would be multiplied by 4 times. Let's move on to the next graph, which is the yearly swing graph. In this graph, these green bars shows the number of months with positive returns in each year, and the red bars shows the number of months with negative returns. So in 2015, 7 months gave positive returns. In 2016, only 6 gave positive returns. 2017 seems to be a very good year for this sector with 11 months gave positive returns. 2018, 8 months gave positive returns. So again, okay year. 2019, only 5 out of 12 months gave positive returns. So not a good year for this sector. 2020 seems to be okay year for the sector with 8 months gave positive returns. In 2021, 6 months gave positive, 6 months gave negative returns. So average year for the sector. In 2022, only 4 months gave positive returns. So this year does not seems to be a good year for this sector. 2023, in 2023, 9 months gave positive returns. So this year was a good year for this sector. In 2024, 6 months gave positive return and 6 negative. So what is the takeaway from this graph? So the takeaway from this graph is that the CAGR of this entire sector for the last 10 years is 16.19%. Now, although 16.919% is not that bad, but we do have several sectors which has historically given a better CAGR. But still, it gave a positive return, a healthy positive returns of 16.919% CAGR. Let's move on to the third graph, which is the monthly returns over last 10 years. So if you are new to this channel, you might find this graph at the first look a bit complicated, but it is actually not. It is basically a collection of 12 smaller graphs, a graph each for every month. So see if on the top left, if you see this one is for January, then February, then March, then April, and so on. So this graph shows the returns in each month across years, across last 10 years. So for example, in the top left graph, that is for January, we can see that in 2015, January gave a return of 9.92%, whereas in 2016, January gave a negative returns of 5.93%. So overall for January, only 3 times it gave positive returns in January, whereas 7 times it gave negative returns. So January is clearly not a strong month for this sector, historically speaking. February is even worse, only 2 positive, 15 and 17. So only 2 positive years for February, sorry. For March, the trend reverses and 7 out of 10 years, March gave positive returns. So as April, again 7 positive and only 3 negative. In May, the situation improves with 8 positive years. So as in June, with 8 positive years. In July seems to be the best month for this sector with 9 positive returns out of 10 year, and only negative is in 2019, that to a mere 0.25% negative return. August again seems to be a strong month for this sector with 8 years it gave positive returns. Then comes September. September only 4 positive out of 10. October even worse with only 3 positive out of 10. November is okayish with 5 positive, 5 negative, and December a bit better than November with 6 positive and 4 negative. So what is the takeaway from this? So the takeaway from this is that there is no net negative return here for this entire for the sector in entire last 10 years. So that may be the reason why the sector is called as a defensive sector. so that it seems that you don't lose money by putting that in this sector. But again, this is just the last 10 years data. No one can predict the future. Let's move on to the next graph. This is the mean monthly returns graph. And the first look itself, we can quite clearly see that there are 4 months which are not good for this sector: January, February, September, and October. Apart from these 4 months, rest 8 months all have given an average positive returns over the last 10 years, with July being the outstanding performer with 4.16% returns. There are other good months as well. June is good, May is also good. So what are the takeaways from this? What is the takeaway from this graph? So takeaway is that January, February, September, and October are the cheapest months for this sector, which means that this sector has underperformed or underdelivered historically in these 4 months. Let's see the final graph, which is the monthly swing graph. So it shows the yearly returns, positive or negative, the number of positive returns and number of years with negative returns across 12 months on the last 10 years. January only 3 times it gave positive returns, so not a good month for this sector. February only 2, so even worse. March 7 positive in last 10 years, so March is good. April again 7 good. May 8 even better. June again good, very good with 8. July is the best with 9 positive returns out of 10. August is also very good with 8 positive. But September only 4 positive returns. October only 3 times in last 10 years when October month gave positive returns. November 5 apiece. And December 6 positive and 4 negative. So what is the takeaway from this graph? So the takeaway is that the April, May, June, July, and August are the costliest months. These are the months in which this sector shines historically. The graphs are in front of you. You can check the graphs again and you can drive your own conclusion. Do not take my word for it. It is very easy now to drive the conclusion based on these graphs. That is all for this video. Thanks for watching it. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And I'll be back soon with another video. Goodbye.